Over the past few decades, gaming has had a remarkable transformation, evolving from simple pixelated graphics and basic gameplay into immersive experiences that has become one of the most popular forms of entertainment. This transformation has been largely driven by the advancement of technology and the expansion of the gaming industry, which now has become a multi-billion-dollar business surpassing the music and cinema scene. However, this rapid evolution has also given rise to a number of questions and concerns about the impact of modern gaming on individuals and society as a whole. In this video essay, we will explore the different types of games, the narrative in video games and its impact, the relationship between games and young individuals, the impact of violent content on players, and the role of gaming addiction. In my opinion, there are two types of games. One of them makes you feel things, with some heartwarming moments,
Talking away. I don't know what I'm to say. I'll say anyway.
Close your eyes. It'll be worth it.
Okay.
You're a good friend to me, Arthur.
Cheers.
heart-pounding moments, and heartbreaking moments.
Don't be afraid. Listen to me. I know this hurts. You're gonna be okay, baby. Stay with me. I'm gonna pick you up. I know, baby. I know it hurts.
When talking about narrative in games from recent years, it's really hard to beat The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2. It's all about love, hate, and humanity. In the first part, the main thing being discussed in the game, I think, is the connection with people and the matter of right and wrong. Throughout the journey, my bond as a player with Joel and Ellie developed further and further. I was so hooked with the game that I kept thinking about what might happen later on when I wasn't playing. I was just concerned if Ellie would make it to the next chapter. And that's a really familiar feeling because we all would have that someone that we really care or cared about. The matter of right and wrong was also discussed here, and it's shown at the end of part 1, where instead of letting Ellie die with the hope of saving the entire world, Joel killed the main surgeon and saved Ellie. What was right for Joel? Ellie meant the whole world to him, and he had no choice. It's the connection that he had with Ellie that made his life worth living. And isn't it true in all of our lives? It's meaningful human connection. In part 2, there are better female representations. Ellie is now the protagonist and she develops a relationship with a minority girl. This kind of representation has not been seen in the world of gaming before. The classic recipe was saving the world as a chunky, muscular dude. There are also anti-war games such as This War of Mine, where you play as a civilian trying to survive in a country going through a civil war. You face a lot of problems, and especially moral problems. For example, if you're young and healthy, and you break into a house full of elderly people, will you rob their medicine that they need to survive? This game takes you into these situations, forces you to make the decisions, and confronts you in these moral dilemmas. The developers even donated $850,000, which is a part of their profit, in effort to stop the ongoing war in Ukraine. These are the games that are trying to make the world a better place, and it's really inspiring. Games also helped me through many downs. When I moved away from my home city when I was 9 years old, it took time for my classmates to accept me. And before that, it was very painful and lonely, and I had no one to talk to. My parents were either too busy on business trips, or they had to take care of my younger brother, so I went to gaming. 2 years later, same thing happened again when I moved back to my home city. When I was 14 years old, my parents sent me to a boarding school in rural Canada. It was a complete new environment, everyone spoke English, and it was overwhelming. I went to games. When I broke my femur and was disabled for 7 months, I played games. Lots of it. When I first came to Australia for university, COVID hit and I had no friends. I played games. For so many times, game had been a relief from life, a loyal friend, and even an escape from reality. There was a lot of violence in the game I played, but I saw it as a safe place where I could dump all my crap. Am I as addicted to games now? Nah, I'd like to see the nature more. But I don't necessarily see it as addictive and dangerous to play if you know how to treat games correctly. After all, I had a lot of fun. There's also this type of game that drives you crazy.
Fucking annoying. Look at these. Holy shit! Ah! Ah! Fuck! Battle Royale right now. Double range, it's double range. Shut up! Don't fucking say anything! Shut up!
Type of fast food games are harmful. They rely on its mechanics rather than the narrative. Capitalist practices have also made these games more and more grindy, repetitive, yet addictive, and it's driving people to dump hundreds or even thousands of dollars into them. My high school classmate, Tommy Xu, had troubles dealing with video games. When he got into university, he forgot all the other aspects of his life, and games was his reality. During the day, he would play with his friends in Canada, and during the night, he would play with his friends back in China. He had a really bad diet and an eating habit. He would have food deliveries for almost all of his meals and eat at the most random hours, and this was because his life was completely taken over by games. This has been his lifestyle for over a year, and something went wrong with his intestine. But video games was his reality, and this didn't bother him that much, until it was unbearable. He flew back to China to have it checked out, and turned out he had colon cancer, and it was already stage 4. When I visited him at the hospital, I asked him, could you still play games? He said to me he couldn't because his hands were too shaky. I couldn't imagine all the pain that he had gone through, and now he's been deceased for over 2 years. I couldn't tell you how much I miss him. I forgot to mention, in high school he was the backbone of the D1 rugby team. He won provincial champion once in wrestling, and everyone loved him for that. It is such a shame to see what addiction to video games are doing to young people, and we must be aware of the harmful side of video games to treat them properly. In conclusion, games can be a source of inspiration and means of social connection. As with any form of entertainment or activity, it's important to approach gaming in a balanced and responsible way, with awareness of its potential effects. With continued research and awareness, we can create a gaming culture that is both enjoyable and healthy for all of us.